Miscellaneous minds, never explaining the minds. Devilish grin for my alias, aliens who respond. Peddling sin, thinking maybe when you get old you realize I'm not gonna fold or demise. I don't smoke crack, motherfucker, I sell it.
What is going on, everybody? This is the Miscellaneous Minds Podcast. I'm your co-host, Puma Gato, the cat that hands your upset back. And to my left over here is the main man, assistant arrow, the man that makes the fat stacks. Together we form the dynamic duo that won't die. Tell the ideas, brother, and spicier content than your girl's only fans.
What is going on, everybody? Before we get into tonight's topic, please make sure to like, comment, hate, subscribe, DM us about the bullshit. And with that, let's get right into it. Oh man, were there two major upsets at this weekend's UFC 308? Listen, I'll be honest with you. Things in one fight went down how I predicted they went down, and another one completely blew me out of the water. With that being said, let's talk about it. So, in the first fight, co-main event, Hamza really took it to Bobby Knuckles. And when I say took it to him, obliterated him. And I'll be honest with you. We had picked Robert Whittaker to potentially win. There was a number of reasons for that. Hamza had been out of the ring for quite some time. He had been sick. He had not made weight. Different factors that I thought all would accumulate to Hamza not being able to bring the best foot forward and be able to beat Robert Whittaker. Now, don't get me wrong. I didn't completely discount it, because I was pretty high on Hamza's stock before all these missed weights and so on and so forth. I did definitely think he could win. That being said, not in the way that he won. Man, he went in there and he dominated the crap out of Robert Whittaker in a first round submission win. And here's the thing. Not only did he really break Robert Whittaker's will, but he broke his jaw with that submission that he laid in. And it was crazy because, again, I never discounted Hamza being able to win the fight, but not in the way that he won it, man. Hamza went out there and he did his thing. And again, much to my surprise, much to my bro's surprise here, much to a lot of people's surprise, because, again, it's not that he couldn't win. It's not that it was, completely counted out. It's the way that he did it. He went in there and he dominated someone that, again, go back and watch the old video. By my account, by a lot of people's accounts, he was always number two. If it weren't for Israel Adesanya, I personally believe Robert Whittaker would have been champion and reigning champion for a long time, because Robert Whittaker has gone through the division and beat, all the top contenders minus Israel Adesanya. So it was really a surprise that Hamza went in there and he dominated as much as he did. What I thought could potentially happen is Hamza goes in there, tries to bully the crap out of him, and maybe even does for the first and second round. But I feel like at a certain point, Hamza would have gas as he did in the Kamaru Usman fight, and eventually Robert Whittaker would have started taking over. But no, man, was I wrong? And I have no problem admitting that, man. Again, I predicted Robert Whittaker win, but I was completely wrong. And man, Hamza went in there, did his thing, and he dominated. Shout out to Hamza. Definitely a big surprise, but listen, I ain't mad at it. What do you think about that, my man?
Listen, I was also wrong in the initial observation of going into this fight, where I thought it was going to go all 5 rounds. Clearly, the opposite pretty much happened. It was pretty much a quick fight. Now, the dangerous thing that we have to consider in it is that even Hamza admitted, I don't know if he meant it jokingly or not, but he said he didn't mean to break Robert Whittaker's jaw. And whether that was a joke or not, or if he really truly didn't mean to aim for that, it just happened by complete coincidence, a complete happenstance. The fact of the matter is, he clinched in. He clinched in what was it, rear naked choke, and managed to break it wasn't just a jaw. He broke off a piece of his gums, and it went into where his tongue went, which means, look. I don't know if this is going to be career ending for Robert Whittaker, but a severe injury like that to the jaw is at least something you have to very heavily think on going forward. And again, this is a very unfortunate circumstance. And again, this isn't to, no way to shame the loss of Robert Whittaker or to take away from the win for Hamza. The fact that Hamza did it in such a quick fashion, and he did it with unexpected damage on Robert Whittaker like that, Hamza should feel nothing but pride in winning in such a quick fashion like that, especially against a heavy contender like Robert Whittaker. But at the same time, Robert Whittaker also needs to heavily think about where he's gonna go next. Am I in the camp that think he should retire? No. But at the same time, this is not one of those one and done injuries where it's even an MCL or anything like that. But a bruised rib, that's something we can kind of walk this off. A broken jaw, you have to think very heavily about where you're going to go next. Whether Robert Whittaker is going to retire, I don't think he should. But it is one of those things where, let's be honest, time's running out as far as what his career aspirations are being, and a broken jaw this late in his game is definitely going to put a much bigger faster on the timer for his career. So where's he going to go? I don't know. My thing is, however long his fighter career span has gone, it's now been vastly diminished at this point.
Yeah, it's definitely an interesting thing to think about, man. Listen, you're completely correct about one thing. Robert Whitaker is starting to get up there in age. He's been fighting for quite some time now. The wear and tear is obviously slowly setting in. You know, as the older you get, the more that damage takes place. You know, the more easily you are hurt, and so on and so forth. So yeah, I completely agree. Listen, I'm very high on Robert Whitaker's stock. So I personally don't think anyone should be talking about retirement, or we should even start delving into that. But I do think Robert Whitaker needs to take a little bit of a step back and really analyze where he's going, because a loss like this, after you've beaten everybody else constantly a few times now, it says, hey, Ann, you're not championship material, but again, you've beaten everybody else, so what do you really do? He's stuck in a similar aspect as a Dustin Poirier, because Dustin Poirier has beat everybody in his division. He's never become champion. So, you know, for Dustin Poirier. With that being said, listen, great fight. Shout out to Hamza, man. He did his fucking thing out there. That being said, let's move on to the main event and the one that shocked most everybody. Ilia Topuria is the first man in UFC history to knock out Max Holloway. And listen, go back and watch the video so you don't think I'm full of shit. First of all, I wanted Max Holloway to win. We both did. We picked Max Holloway. But that being said, I did say, and I specifically stated this while watching the fight, the people that I was with, I told them this: if Max Holloway loses, this is how he's going to lose. Max Holloway has always been a very prideful fighter, very headstrong fighter, that when he gets hurt, he starts throwing punches because he wants to hurt you back. And in the original video, I very specifically said that if he loses, it's going to be because he gets headstrong. He gets caught by something. Ilia has a lot of power. Ilia caught him. And what did Max Holloway do? He immediately started throwing punches as big as Ilia was throwing, and he was trying to catch him. But nope. Ilia caught him once again, eventually putting him out. And again, listen, we wanted Max to win. We don't want to shame Max in any way, shape, or form. But the fact that a lot of us, even DC before the fight, called it, and don't get me wrong, we did our video first, but DC called it right after that, where we said, if he loses, it's going to be he's too headstrong. He's too durable, so to speak. He's going to go in there and he's going to think, if I get caught, as he did, I'm going to keep going for it. I'm going to go for gold. I'm going to throw just as many punches. And that's the problem that Max Holloway faces as a fighter. When a lot of people think, oh, what is this man's weaknesses? A lot of people are like, well, I don't know if he has any weaknesses. He has great cardio, great chin. He's a great boxer, so on and so forth, blah, blah, blah. But the problem is the man is too headstrong. I specifically said testicular fortitude, and even my man here, when we were talking about it before the fight, I sent him a couple stuff via Instagram, and I told him, look, this is how he's gonna lose. If he loses, this is how he's gonna lose, and that's exactly how it went down. So even though it's not the call that I wanted to happen, it went down in the exact same way that I thought it would. And listen, there's a lot of boxers that are the same way, where they're just too headstrong in their own belief that they go in there and they get caught. They wanna do the same thing. Chino Maidana comes to mind. That's happened a couple times. Canelo Alvarez has never been knocked out, but when he gets hurt, he wants to do the same thing to you. Triple G, so on and so forth. I can list them off. There's plenty of fighters out there that when they get clipped and they get caught, they want to do the exact same thing to you. And unfortunately for Max Holloway, and I stated this in our initial review, Topuria has too much power for you to go in there and do that with him. That was the fatal flaw. If anything, Max Holloway beat himself into a because listen, I'll be honest with you, I think he was doing good. In fact, in the very first round, I thought he was landing a lot of body kicks down the middle that were landing perfectly, and Ilia was never catching him. I said if he keeps doing that, he's going to wear Ilia down, and eventually he's going to catch him. But he stopped doing the body kicks, and then he started getting caught a lot more, and eventually, he let his pride get the better of him. But look, it is what it is. Unfortunately for Max Holloway, he took that L, his first time getting knocked out, and Ilia is slowly becoming all the things that a lot of people criticize him for. But it is what it is. What do you think about that, my man?
Listen, man, I said from our first video that one of the things that, and again, like Ilia already predicted this, and even Max called him out on it. He said, like, Ilia said something to the effect of, yeah, anybody can point down in the middle ring and in the last 30 seconds of the fight. 10 seconds of the fight and start throwing down. I want to be the first one to say, look, let's do it in the first 10 seconds and start throwing it down. And look, to Max's credit, he didn't take the bait immediately. And I said, do not do that. Do not take the bait. And granted, yeah, some people might have called him, a little too cowardly for that. But I said, no, you're walking right into his trap. He's falling for the very thing that you're not wanting to fall into. He's going to trade blows. You're going to take more damage than you're giving out. But look, at the end, the more the fight wore on, the more that Max was falling into that unfortunate greed and avarice and pride that was the very thing that he was trying to avoid in the first 10 seconds of the fight. It was unfortunate, but again, his pride got the better of him. And to be honest, it's been the tale of... It's been a meme going around, but it's been the tale of the BMF title. All the title holders, how they went down. And again, it's the same story over and over again. Everybody said the meme of the... all the title holders of the BMF title all subsequently lost their next fight after they won the belt. Now, remind me again, it was Max Holloway who won it from Justin Gaethje, who won it from...
He didn't win it from anybody. The title was up for grabs.
Oh, the title was up for grabs.
Masvidal had retired.
Oh, okay, yeah, okay. Masvidal, Gaethje, and Holloway all lost their subsequent fights after they had won the BMF title. And again, all of them lost because all of them got too greedy. All of them decided to go for all blows and not checking themselves, not being strategic. And guess what? All of them unfortunately met the same end. They all suffered an unfortunate knockout that everybody thought they should have won, but guess what? They didn't. It's an unfortunate tale of greed and avarice and pride getting to the better of you, as opposed to being a smarter fighter. And this isn't to shame Max Holloway, but at the end of the day, even Max Holloway doesn't blame himself for the loss of the fight. He says, "Look, at the end of the day, Ilia Topuria was the better man. Like, I'm not gonna start making excuses. Like, at the end of the day, yeah, he's the title holder for a reason." And look, end of the day, whether you like Max Holloway or not, or whether you hate Ilia Topuria, unfortunately, this isn't the storybook ending. Like, everybody wanted Max Holloway to win because he was the nicest, he was the humblest fighter. But even then, at the end of the day, you can be humble, you can be nice, you can be the greatest guy ever. At the end of the day, once you're in the ring, it's who's better. And Ilia Topuria proved that he was. Like him or not, he's arrogant, he's too cocky, he's kind of an asshole, let's be honest. But at the end of the day, we saw him get in there with Max Holloway, one of the best strikers in the UFC, especially at featherweight. He got in there and he outboxed him. He beat Max at his own game. I don't even like Ilia Topuria like that either. But at the end of the day, we all saw what happened. We can deny it all we want, but Ilia Topuria is champ for a reason. And we all were bear witness to that, whether we like it or not.
Yeah, listen, man, I'll be honest with you. I think it's one of those concepts where we all wanted Max Holloway to win, obviously for all the reasons that you listed. And I think it's just one of those concepts that we have to come to terms with the fact that even though we may be seeing greatness in a Max Holloway, in a Conor McGregor early on, in a Dustin Poirier, so on and so forth, eventually, if you're one of those fighters where you put it all on the line, as Holloway is, as Dustin Poirier is, as Nate Diaz is, as Justin Gaethje, so on and so forth. Eventually, it's going to happen to you, unfortunately. But look, it is what it is. It was a great event for us to watch. I'm sure a lot of you loved it. It'll be interesting to see what happens next moving forward for Ilya. He's already listed a couple people. Maybe Volkanovski is on the horizon. Diego Lopez is on the horizon. Yeah, there's a number of people that Ilya has stated he wants. I mean, I think just today made a comment that he could tap out Islam, which I think is a tall freaking order. But we'll see. We'll see. It's going to be interesting to see where Ilya goes. Shout out to Max Holloway. He deserves all the credit in the world. He put up a hell of a fight as well. And with that, make sure to like, comment, hate, subscribe, DM us about the bullshit. And
until next time, get rest and stay blessed. We'll see you in the next one.